Ever find yourself like really vibing with an outfit, like that perfect jacket or those killer shoes? You just got to wonder, how did that even end up on the racks ready for me?
It's a whole process.
Right. And that, my friends, is exactly what we're diving into today. Wholesale merchandising in clothing and footwear.
The real fashion scene behind the curtain.
Exactly. We're talking about the masterminds who make those retail dreams a reality. And lucky for us, we've got some insider info to help us break it all down.
Yeah, we're looking at some excerpts from RoleCatcher. They've got this super helpful career guide. Wholesale merchant in clothing and footwear, plus some seriously smart advice on, well, how do you even get your foot in the door in the first place?
Music to my ears.
Hmm.
Because honestly, the fashion industry, it's tough out there.
Right. Especially now with AI changing the whole job market.
It's like you're competing with robots aiming a sea of other fashionistas.
Oh, absolutely. You really got to have a game plan.
Which is where RoleCatcher comes in.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's paint a picture here. Say you are a wholesale merchant. What's a typical day even look like?
Well, first off, it's definitely not just about having, like, good taste.
Right. You're not just playing dress up all day.
No, not at all. You need some serious business chops. And the RoleCatcher guide, it makes that crystal clear. This is a demanding role, lots of responsibility, and it requires a very particular set of skills.
Like what? Give us the rundown.
Well, think about it. You've got to have your finger on the pulse of what's trending.
Before it even hits the mainstream.
Exactly. So trend analysis, that's huge. But then you've also got to be a master negotiator.
Like haggling with designers?
More like think bigger picture. Negotiating deals with suppliers, figuring out pricing, making sure everything runs smoothly from production to, well, when it finally hits the shelves.
So you're the bridge between the creativity and the actual business of fashion.
100%.
Hmm.
And it takes a lot of, like, juggling,
Yeah.
You've got logistics to manage, relationships to build. One minute you could be analyzing sales data, the next you're at some huge fashion trade show, pitching a new line to a room full of buyers. It's fast-paced, it's demanding, but honestly, it's also pretty exhilarating.
I can only imagine. Sounds like you really have to be on top of your game to make it in this world.
You do.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart.
So then let's get real. Breaking into the fashion industry, everyone knows it's cutthroat, right? But how do you even stand out?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And like we were saying, with AI becoming more and more common in hiring, it can feel like, well, like you're sending your resume into a black hole.
Right. Like, who's even reading this? A robot.
It can feel that way.
So what's the secret?
Strategy, honestly. You can't just be good anymore, you have to be smart about it. And that means using every tool at your disposal.
Which is where I'm guessing RoleCatcher comes in handy.
You got it.
Yeah.
First off, they have this browser plugin. It's called RoleCatcher.capture. And let me tell you, it's a game changer, especially when you're like deep down the job hunting rabbit hole.
Oh, I know that feeling. Endless tabs open, trying to keep track of everything.
Right. But with this plugin, you can literally save job postings with like one click. No more frantic copying and pasting.
It's like organizing your job search, finally.
That's a great way to put it. But then it gets even better. They also have this CV analysis tool. And this is huge.
So is this like those things where it tells you if you've used enough action verbs and stuff?
Kind of, but like
Yeah.
way more sophisticated.
Yeah.
It actually scores your CV based on the specific skills that each job description is looking for.
Oh.
Right. It takes all the guesswork out of it. You know exactly what you need to highlight, what needs tweaking to really catch the eye of those hiring managers.
Talk about a confidence boost. Instead of just hoping for the best, you're putting your best foot forward every single time.
That's the idea. It's all about being strategic and, putting yourself out there in a way that actually gets noticed.
Love that. Okay, so you've got the perfect CV, you've dodged the robot gatekeepers, and you've landed yourself an interview. Now what?
Well, now comes the fun part, the interview itself, which, let's be real, can be utterly terrifying.
The pressure's on.
Right. And while nothing can completely eliminate those pre-interview jitters, RoleCatcher, again, comes to the rescue with preparation.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say preparation, I mean they've got a database of, like, are you ready for this? Over 120,000 interview questions.
120,000, you're kidding. That's like a lifetime's worth of interview questions.
I know, right? But here's the thing.
There's got to be a catch.
They're not just random questions. They're all categorized,
Yeah.
by career path, by skill set, by industry. So if you're interviewing to be a wholesale merchant, you're not going to get stuck answering questions about like software engineering or something.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah,
So it's like targeted practice.
exactly. You can focus on the questions that are actually relevant to you, to the role you're going for, which
Mhm.
means when you're in that interview room, they're not caught off guard.
You're cool, calm, and collected, or at least you appear that way.
Fake it till you make it, right? But seriously, that sense of preparedness, that can make all the difference. It helps you feel confident, more articulate, and when you feel good, you just come across better.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Confidence is key, especially in the fashion world, but confidence comes from knowing your stuff, and it sounds like RoleCatcher really sets you up for success on that front.
Oh, totally.
Huh.
And hold on, because it gets even better.
Better than 120,000 interview questions. How is that even possible?
Hold on to your hats. They've integrated AI-powered feedback into the mix.
Whoa, AI interview coach. Now that's next level.
Tell me about it.
So imagine this. You've prepped with RoleCatcher, nailed those interview questions, and bam, you got the job. Congratulations. Now, where do you even go from there? What does a career path in wholesale fashion actually look like? Is it like straight to the top, or are there like levels to this fashion game?
Think of it less like a straight shot and more like, I don't know, climbing a really stylish ladder.
Ooh, I like that, climbing that fashion ladder. But yeah, are there like specific roles you climb through?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher actually breaks down the typical trajectory in their career guide. So
Mhm.
you might start as an assistant buyer, for instance.
Okay, assistant buyer, that makes sense. Entry level, learning the ropes.
Exactly. You're supporting the more senior merchants, doing a lot of market research, maybe even getting a taste of those like high-stakes negotiations.
So you're like a fashion detective, basically, out there scouring for clues about upcoming trends.
I love that analogy. You're spot on. You're learning what works, what doesn't, and how to really understand the market.
Okay, so you've paid your dues as an assistant buyer. You've got a good feel for the trends. What's the next rung on the ladder?
Well, once you've proven those trend-spotting skills, and maybe more importantly, your understanding of like why those trends matter, you'd likely move up to a junior buyer position.
Okay, so now you're not just spotting trends, you're like analyzing them.
Right. You're digging deeper into the data,
Mhm.
figuring out who's buying what and why. You're also starting to build your own network within the industry.
So more responsibility, higher stakes. And eventually, if you keep killing it, you could become what, a senior buyer? Is that the top of the fashion food chain?
You got it. Senior buyer is where it's at, the top of the pyramid. You're leading a team, developing entire wholesale strategies, making those big decisions about what products to stock, how to price them. It's a lot of pressure, but also incredibly rewarding.
Sounds like it. But this whole time, the fashion world's constantly changing. How do you even keep up with the trends, the technology, all of it?
That's the thing about this industry. You never stop learning. RoleCatcher stresses that big time. They really emphasize the importance of, like, continuous learning.
Makes sense. What's hot today could be so over tomorrow.
Tell me about it. So you got to stay curious. Go to those industry events, read the trade publications, follow the right people on social media.
So it's not just about what you know, but like who you know.
Networking is huge. Absolutely. You learn from the best, build relationships with designers, suppliers, everyone, and don't be afraid to ask for advice. RoleCatcher actually talks a lot about the value of finding a mentor.
Oh yeah, a mentor. That's like having your own personal fashion guru.
Exactly. Someone who's been there, done that, and can give you the inside scoop, help you avoid those rookie mistakes. Because let's face it, the fashion world, it can be tough, even at the top.
No doubt about that. It sounds like a wild ride, but also incredibly exciting. So much creativity, so much business savvy.
It's the best of both worlds, honestly. And speaking of shaking things up, RoleCatcher, they're doing something really interesting in the job hunting world, something they call like a reverse job search model.
Hold on, reverse job search. You're blowing my mind here. What even is that? So instead of me like frantically refreshing my inbox, hoping anyone noticed my amazing resume with this reverse job search thing, the employers come to me.
You got it. It's like flipping the script on traditional job hunting.
Okay, but how does it actually work? Do I like post my resume online and just wait for the offers to roll in?
It's more like creating a, supercharged profile on RoleCatcher. You highlight all your skills, your experience, what you're passionate about, even your career goals. And then get this, employers on the platform, they can actually search for candidates based on those criteria. So let's say a brand is looking for someone with like expertise in sustainable footwear, and that's like your jam.
They could find me even if I hadn't specifically applied to their company.
Exactly. They see your profile, they see you're a perfect fit, and bam, they reach out to you directly.
No more playing the waiting game. I love it. Okay, so to wrap things up, we've covered a ton of ground today. We've explored the world of wholesale merchandising, from trend forecasting to landing that dream job in this crazy competitive industry. And we definitely couldn't have done it without RoleCatcher and all their seriously impressive tools and resources.
They've really thought of everything.
They really have. But if our listeners take away just one thing from this deep dive, what would you say it should be?
Honestly, stay curious.
Ooh, I like that.
Right.
Expand on that.
The fashion world, it's all about what's next, right? What's the next big trend, the next must-have item? So you got to stay ahead of the curve. Read everything, attend those industry events, connect with the people who are shaping the conversation, and never, ever be afraid to ask questions.
Be a trendsetter, not just a trend follower. I love it. Great advice. And on that note, to all our listeners out there who are ready to take on the world of wholesale fashion, remember to check out RoleCatcher. We'll have all the links in our show notes.
It's been so much fun chatting with you today.
Likewise, this was a good one. And to everyone listening, until next time, stay curious, stay stylish, and keep chasing those fashion dreams.